All right, so let's talk a little bit about the Lakers game last night. Pascal Siakam, Kyle Lowry, two-man wrecking crew out there, just torching the Lakers for a combined 76 points. The Lakers' losses continue to mount. They've now lost 6 of their last 7, currently in 6th place in the West. They have the same record as the 7-seeded Trailblazers, though, so there is a real chance the defending champs will drop into that play-in tournament, something that just seemed inconceivable. It was only 2 months ago they were in 2nd place in the West. LeBron shared his thoughts about the play-in tournament, and they're not positive. Take a listen.
It doesn't matter at the end of the day if I'm not, 100% close to 100%. It don't matter, where we land, So, that's my mindset. And, if this happens to we end up at 6th or 5th or whatever the case may be, or if we end up in the playoff, whatever that thing is, whoever came up with that need to be fired. But whatever.
All right, so a little breaking news from Woj and Ramona Shelburne. The Lakers' LeBron is out tonight against the Nuggets. He re-aggravated his ankle in the 4th quarter of last night's loss. Jackie, calling for someone to be fired is strong. I can hear you laughing there. What is your opinion of LeBron's comments?
I can understand his frustration, Rachel. I really can. And you are correct in that it was inconceivable for anyone on the Lakers to even think about the play-in game. I'm sure they never even gave it a thought, never paid attention to how it worked, because it was never going to be part of their equation. It was never going to be anything that affected them. I'm sure Mark Cuban felt the same way about his Dallas Mavericks. I don't blame people for changing their minds. People are pulling out an old quote from LeBron saying he thinks it's a great idea, and it was from March 2018 or March 2020 or whatever it was. But I think all of these guys have the right to change their mind because no one knew what toll this year. This has been like the baton death march this NBA season, honestly, for every team, coaches, players, GMs, everyone. So I don't blame people for changing their mind and saying, man, the last thing we need are more games with less time in between them.
Yeah, look, Jackie, I agree with your point, but I disagree with LeBron as far as the play-in because I actually love the play-in tournament, okay? I think it holds teams and organizations accountable throughout the regular season, not to take the regular season for granted. And during this time when it's getting towards the end of the regular season, going into the playoffs, sometimes teams relax. You have guys load managing, guys sitting out games, guys tanking, things to that nature. Well, this here nips everything in the bud. And I think, when you think about load management part of it, where hardworking people are taking their kids to games or their friends to games and superstars are now playing. Now you have to play because every game means something. So I actually love the play-in tournament, and I think a guy that was a great example who took full advantage of the play-in tournament was Damian Lillard last year in the bubble. He said, I'm not going down to the bubble just to play. I need to have a reason to play, and I want an opportunity to go in and play to get in the playoffs, and he shined like new money. So I get LeBron frustration because his ankle injury, his team, and where they are. But the play-in tournament has been a great thing that the NBA has added to the schedule and to the NBA period.
Look, I'm all for the play. Go ahead, Jackie.
Saying, Perk. Oh, no, I was going to say, I get what you're saying, Perk, but I just think you have to look at this year through a different lens. And now what's happening because of the play-in and people and teams wanting to avoid the play-in, players who are injured are coming back sooner than they should. I would present LeBron James as a potential example. And so is that good for the league, for players to come back before they're healthy because they want to avoid that 7th spot at all spots? I'm not so sure
I'm not sure that that's
good.
why LeBron's coming back now, though. There's only such a handful of games before the playoffs. You know that either way he would want to be getting himself back into shape, getting his rhythm with Anthony Davis. And I will say this for the Lakers, whether they end up in 7th in the playoff spot, play-in spot, or 6th, they may want to end up in 7th looking at the bracket, right? Because if they end up in 6th, guess who they would play in the first round if the season ended today? The Clippers in the first round. Meanwhile, if they end up in 7th, they play either Phoenix or Utah. And I am not making a statement of, oh, gee, those are easier than the Clippers. But I know that there's been talk amongst the Lakers that perhaps you would want one of those earlier matchups. So I think that it is a little bit of a gamble to try to pick your opponent. Having to play the extra game of having to play the play-in game might be something that the Lakers, who are banged up, are not looking forward to. But overall, their big problem is LeBron is still hurting, Anthony Davis is still finding his legs, and now Dennis Schroeder is out for 10 to 14 days. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.